Hey, what's up guys? Alex here again. It's Jack Wagon Garage. Shop again today. Got me a, well, not me, but this is my buddy's Toyota FJ Cruiser. I got it here today to just do a little bit of work on it for him. Super simple things, just doing an oil change. I'll show you guys how that's done. If anyone's looking specifically on how to do an oil change on the FJ or just how to do an oil change in general, I'll try to cover all the basics. He's having a little bit of vibration at like 55, 60 miles an hour. That's usually a tire balance issue. So I'm gonna go ahead and take his wheels off, throw them on the balancer machine, see if they're out of balance and they need some weights put on them to give him a smoother ride. And he's got like a little bit of a rattling noise when he starts the vehicle up. We're almost confident it's a heat shield on the exhaust that is rattling around. It's loose. Usually they're tack welded in place. Sometimes they'll get a little bit of rust, they'll break, they can rattle, make some noise. So I'll get in there, see if I can find what heat shield it is, go in there with the welder, just retack it, make it quiet. I think that's pretty much it. The oil change, balance the wheels, fix that heat shield. I'm just gonna give it a quick check over for him, make sure everything's looking good. Kind of do like all the basic maintenance on it and bring you guys along to see how it's all done. I'm gonna go ahead and start with the tire balance. I got a wheel off over here by our balance machine. I've got it secured on there. I'm gonna go ahead and, I know obviously not most people are gonna have a tire balance machine, but still pretty cool to use. I'll go ahead and show you guys how to like set it up and get it going and test your tire balance. So basically, this is the first number you need to put in. There's a little arm here that you just got to pull out to the edge of the inside of your wheel, and it go in ahead and set that number for me. I have to get the width. Got a little tool here for testing that. Looks like we have a roughly a 9.5 inch rim, looks like. So we go ahead and punch in that number, and these are probably looking for the numbers, and these are a, oh sorry, there's really bad lighting there, but right here, that is a 17-inch wheel. So we go ahead and punch 17 into our diameter. And that's pretty much it. First, we also have to make sure there's a couple different ways to put weights on a wheel. There's what we call hammer-ons and what we call sticky weights. Looks like this one has sticky weights here and sticky weights right. There's some right back here. Not only is there the two different kinds, but there's also different places you can put them on the wheel. And it looks like they're using sticky weights on the inside and outside of the wheel. So that basically tells me that I've got to set this to, looks like an alloy 3. Tells me that it's sticky weights inside and out. So I go ahead and press mode till I get to my alloy 3. And then we're good to go. Basically I just give my tire a spin, drop my hood, and it spins that wheel up for me and gives me the balance of the wheel. And as you can see, it's telling me the outside of the wheel needs 1.25 more ounces of weight on it to make it a perfectly balanced wheel. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab me my strip of sticky weights, count this out till I get my 1 1/4. So these are quarters, so I basically get 5 of these to get 1 1/4 ounces. And I just go and I hammer them on the inside of the wheel where this bar right there, it'll blink at me on the middle one. So it blinks, that means that's right right now at this point of blinking, I need to go to the inside of my wheel and hammer them on right on the very top of the wheel with that line blinking. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I'll set the camera down and I'll pick it back up. We'll respin it after I get the weights on there and see if we can't get this thing zeroed out. All right, I got my new weights stuck up on the inside of the wheel, and we're gonna spin this up. Sometimes on a real big meaty tire like this, like some all-terrain stuff and aftermarket wheels, it's really hard to get it to completely zero out on both sides. So on a big off-road tire like this, I'm usually pretty happy with if I can get it down to just like 0.25, so a quarter of an ounce. So that's what we're gonna try to do here. If it comes to zero, that's even better, but we're just gonna shoot for at least just a quarter of an ounce. I don't know, obviously a lot smaller little passenger car tire. It's a lot easier to get to zero. All right, so I put those weights where I need to be. It looks like it's saying, kind of threw it off a little bit there. It wants some more on both sides now. Sometimes it does that. I'm gonna go ahead and throw those weights on there, see what it does then. And then if it keeps bouncing around on me with numbers like that on either side, I might just take all the weights off the wheel and just completely start over and see what we can get. I'm gonna go ahead and get those weights on there, spin it up one more time, see what we got. All right, got my new weights on there. I'm actually pretty happy I got it down to zero. Which, like I said, sometimes it's kind of difficult on these all-terrain tires, so pretty happy with the fact that I actually got zero balanced on both ends. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this tire off the machine, get slapped back on the car, and I'll do the other one off camera, obviously, because it's just gonna be the same process, but kind of just want to show you guys how a tire balancer works and all that. So yeah, I'll go ahead and get the other tire done, and then when we get back, I'll start on that oil change. All right, guys, I got the FJ up in the air on the lift. I've got the oil draining already right now. Basically there's just a bottom of the oil pan here. There's a whole cover, all this cover underneath the undercarriage of the car, and there's just a service hole here with a 14mm bolt that goes right there. It's got a little washer on it, seal washer on it. You just take that plug out, drain the oil right out the oil pan. It's almost done. Got the front wheels back on. Hopefully that balancing is going to help it drive a little smoother at higher speeds. He wanted me to just kind of do a general check over too. I'm kind of done with that too. I've looked at all the suspension, I've looked at all the brakes. Doesn't look like he has any leaks. Brakes all look good all the way around, nothing's wore down. Suspension's pretty good condition. He's got like a ball joint boot on this side. This upper ball joint boot's broken. Probably need to replace that ball joint eventually. I think maybe the axle boots right here are starting to leak a little bit. Actually, on the inside boot, I'll probably have to replace the front axles eventually. But everything else is looking good. I'll let him know, and looks like my oil is pretty much done draining now. I'm gonna go ahead and tighten my plug back in, lower the vehicle because the oil filter's on top of the motor, and we'll get that oil filter switched out and get her filled up with oil. Alright, got the FJ back down on the ground. I'm getting ready to change the oil filter. Pretty easy location. It's just sitting right here on top of the motor on the driver's side of the vehicle. One thing I don't like about these Toyotas with these motors in them is that, I mean, the oil filter is super accessible here, but unfortunately it usually makes a mess. As you can see, there's a hole there, so when you take the oil filter off, the oil will just drain down there, but the unfortunate part is that it usually drains all just right down the front of the motor, makes it all dirty. So I keep a cup, just a little paper cup on the side. I keep these specifically, or I keep this one specifically for doing oil changes on like Toyotas like this. And what I'll do is, and it'll be a two-hand job, so I'll have to set the camera down, but I'll take this cup and put it down here underneath the hole and catch the oil that falls rather than have it spill down the front of the motor. And that just keeps me from having to clean the engine after I'm done changing the filter out. But yeah, I got our drain plug tight underneath. About to swap filters out. We'll fill it with some oil and we should be done here today. New filters installed. As you can see, I got quite a bit of oil. Like I was saying, without putting this cup underneath that drain, basically all the oil that's in here would end up just down the front of the motor, and then I'd have to bring it outside, pressure wash the engine, and get all the oil off. kind of a waste of time, especially if we were working today and I was doing this oil change for a customer. That'd obviously be a couple minutes waste of time that I'm not getting paid for, that I'm having to clean the engine. So this kind of just saves me from having to do all that. And then I just take this oil and all I do is just dump it out in our oil container, and I put the cup away and save it for the next one. I'm gonna go grab the oil. Well, first I'm gonna put this cup back on my shelf. And then I'm gonna go grab the oil for this thing, get it put in here, and we'll pull this thing out the bay. All right, all done here. This motor takes 6.5 quarts of oil, so that's why I had to run around. I only grabbed 6 before I ran around and grabbed the other half, or I grabbed one more, put half of it in. But 6.5 quarts of oil. I used the 10W30 Pennzoil. You can use any oil you're comfortable with, obviously. But we should be done here. Oil change done, new filter, fresh oil, front tires balanced. I couldn't find anything on that heat shield rattle he was talking about, and I know it. Is that really going on? I don't think so. I couldn't find anything on the heat shield rattle he was talking about. I couldn't find any loose heat shields. I did find a rock that was between his like undercarriage guard, the metal plate that goes under it to protect the engine. I found a rock between that and the subframe that was making a rattling noise, so hopefully that's his noise. Hopefully that gets rid of it. Hopefully his tires are balanced well and he's got a smoother ride. And now we've got a nice fresh oil change on here. He'll be good for another few thousand miles. All right, guys, I'm in my buddy's FJ, getting ready to just head back, bring it to him. Finished with the oil change, finished the tire balance, finished just giving him a general check over, making sure he doesn't need anything done to it. It's pretty much all for today. That's it for this video. I said did nothing crazy today, just helping a buddy out. Hope somebody gets some good information out of this that's interested in just how tire balancing works, or wanting to know how to do their own oil change, specifically on an FJ Cruiser. Hope this helps them out, and I hope everyone gets some good information out of this, and see you next time.